Hello everybody, and today we're going to be looking at Ding Laren versus Ian Nepomniachtchi in the FIDE World Chess Championships. Right now, Ding Laren has about 4.5 points, while Ian Nepomniachtchi has 5.5 points. So Ding Laren needs to win this game or in the next game. But anyways, let's just continue. What are we waiting for? E4 is played by White, which is Ian Nepomniachtchi's move, and Black played E5, which is Ding Laren, and then Knight to F3, and then Knight to C6, developing both knights. And you know what this is? It's the Spanish. And pawn to a6 was played. Last time pawn to a6 was played, I think Dingler lost here and attacks the bishop now. But now Dingler has more prep work in this than the past. So I'm hoping that he would win this game. Knight to f6, developing the knight, and then castles. Here the black doesn't take the pawn because I don't know why. The Berlin defense for black, and then bishop to e7, and then pawn to d3, finally protecting the pawn on e4, and also opening the bishop on g5, maybe also here, or maybe, I don't know what else, maybe on d2 also. And pawn to b5, attacking the bishop here on a4, bishop to b3, and then pawn to d6, opening the white bishop up so that, I don't know, to develop the bishop, maybe castle long or maybe castle short. He might just castle short next. We got pawn to a3. And today, folks, like not today, but in the past, this exact position, all of the pieces position are also in one game where Ding Laren and Ian Nepomniachtchi fought, but in the candidates tournament. It's a different tournament, not the same tournament as the FIDE World Chess Championships tournament, but it's the exact same position as the candidates tournament with Ding Laren and Nepomniachtchi also. But in that time, Ian Nepomniachtchi won that. So let's see how does Ding Laren prove his worth now? Maybe he did some prep because he did a mistake with this position in the candidates tournament. And he did. So he immediately put his knight to a5 to put this pawn on c5. Watch. And now the black's position is very advanced right now, and it has a lot of controlling squares, while white's bishop is, I don't know, kind of just going there and hanging out on a2, which is doing kind of nothing, very inactive there. And knight to c3 was developing a knight, and then bishop to e6 was the purpose of developing a bishop and maybe castling long. Then bishop to g5, attacking the knight, pinning the knight to a bishop. I don't know why. Maybe just trading the bishop so that this attack becomes weak for black. Anyways, castles here for black, and then bishop takes f6, and then bishop take bishop on f6 again. Knight to d5, anchoring the knight there. The knight cannot be taken because if the bishop were to take, the bishop will take. So if this happens, then the bishop is much more powerful than the knight if it was on d5. So if the knight was on d5, it's not very it's actually powerful, but it's more powerful to have the bishop over here. So black wouldn't trade that. Like literally, the bishop will destroy everything in black path. And how did this position set up? How did knight to d5 possibly happen? So here we have this knight here, two pieces controlling the square and two pieces of white controlling the square. So right now, white cannot go here because this trade will happen, which literally leads into a bad position for white, where doubled pawns is very bad for white because doubled pawns are very isolated and only one pawn can support it, which it can't because this one is controlling that square already. So yeah, okay. So right over here, white takes the knight to undefend this square more, so the white knight can go to d5. Now it's very, I don't know, balanced. The computer thinks it's balanced, but I think white, and actually it's balanced because of the pawns versus the knight being on d5. And then queen to d2, and then bishop to g7, going back and maybe, I don't know, rerouting the bishop to a better square. Knight to g5 attacks the bishop, maybe doubles the pawn. He will not double the pawn here because, I don't know, random move here takes, and now the knight has to move away from that square, which is a very not good advantage, although the computer agrees with it. Oh, because of this work. Wait. What if I did another random? Sorry. There, and then here, and then, oh, it's a blunder. Why do I keep evaluations that make a blunder? Okay, you know what? Let's just not move let's move the rook for some reason. If white takes, black is winning because white has to move the knight, and now that knight will become less powerful. Like here, and now it's not more active negative to the black's territory. It's not pointing to the black's territory now than it was before on d5. And yeah, so white doesn't take there. Instead, just I think that the purpose of this is just improve the position of the knight, and then over here, and then black goes to c4 with his pawn, and then white take e6. Because actually, this now is a good move because of the fact that black pushed his pawn to c4, of which does block the bishop from defending the knight, so the bishop cannot defend the knight anymore because the pawn blocks the bishop from seeing the knight. And now white should take the bishop because the bishop is about to take the knight, and if it were to take the knight, it can the double pawn structure would, you know, tear apart. And I know we like let me show you. Okay, random move by white. We actually, it's a more good move because literally that exposes the king of white. But let me show you how this happens. This only line over here. And now white has doubled pawns, if you know what I mean. If white doesn't take the bishop here, and now the bishop can take because the black pawn is blocking it. So as you can see, why pawn to c4 was played is to, you know, block the bishop from defending the knight to take the knight. But now the white knight has to move and decrease its position value. A piece value is where the piece is. If the piece is very powerful on in a specific spot, and it's very valuable on, I don't know, the position it controls to the black's territory, it becomes a very valuable piece. But now it didn't because the pawn attacks the knight, which the knight needs to move now, and bishop to h6 attacks the knight, pinning it to the queen. So whenever you move the knight, the queen will be taken. Rook to d1, trying to set up an attack here when this pawn maybe opens. Rook to b8, and then white takes the pawn on c4, which attacks the pawn also on d6 with the queen. And now we have a very, 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 very big trade happening here. One of the biggest trades ever happened in the FIDE World Chess Championships between Ding Laren and Ian Nepomniachtchi. Specifically, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes the pawn on d6, queen takes the pawn, then queen takes the queen on d6, and we got to this position where so much trade happens, and it became a draw. This is a draw. Like, 3 pawns and 1 rook versus 1 rook and 3 pawns. Who would specifically win? I mean, rook to a3, rook to c5, rook to a2, and then king to f3, and then, you know, we have a bunch of checks, and now this becomes a draw. Because if you were to move your rook somewhere in the, you know, ranks over here, this to this square, you cannot defend the pawn anymore. The black will take that if the rook moves to any of those squares, and you must go here or here. And if you go here and here, your rook will be taken by the king. So you have to go here. And the king attacks the rook again. He cannot go here and also here or here because the pawn will be again taken, or the rook will be taken if here or here. So he has to go again here. And it repeats because of what I said earlier, and now became a draw by repetition, which is, I don't know why it's considered a draw, because look at this. It's still a draw even if it's not repetition. Look at this. If the pawns are if it's 2 pawns and 1 rook versus 3 pawns and 1 rook, it's still a drawable position because, you know, if we were to take the rook and trade all the rooks here, then trade 2 pawns over here, and we have 1 pawn with white over here, that pawn will not queen. That only pawn will not queen. If these are only the pieces that are alive, it will not queen because the king can go here easily and be stalemated. Like, I don't know. Wait, can I at least, you know, make the position nothing anymore? Wait, wow, I literally glitched it out. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna show it to you today. And yeah, that's all for this video. This is a stalemate, and I don't know why I'm moving pawns to any square. Yeah, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is the first game, which is the last game of this video. See you guys in the next video, and please subscribe and like to make me more videos like this, to motivate me more, make me more videos like this. I think that's all the same. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Bye.